Good evening, America. Today is May the 30th, 2026. Time now is 10:33 p.m. and it's Saturday. I want to talk a little bit about something that basic prevalent or related to the topic I was talking about a couple of days ago. Now, this is a shout out to Christina Bruno. And excuse me for my accent. Christina Bruno, and she brought up a topic which relates to what I've been talking about, the reptilian species. And she was talking about the chief reptilian called Uzum. Now I'm going to talk to you, the people, the American people that may understand what I'm about to say. The DRACO species, they didn't come from the Earth, they came from the constellation DRACO. And what we see on Earth are their cousins. They're cousins, basically. Now they had an empire, or I still believe that they still do. And it's basically located in the DRACO sector. But they've since expanded as they've hit Lyra, Valpelcula, Cygnus, they tried to, they hit also serpents, which is located in the northern hemisphere. Now I'm dictating to you from a star guide. This is a star guide. You can buy this in any bookstore or place where you may be able to get anything with astrophysicism or astrology in it. But basically, what it tells you is it's a map of the universe, and it's stars, it's latitudes, and indication of the our indication of the Milky Way splendor and that of Andromeda. Now, at a given time in the future, both the Milky Way and the Andromeda system will collide. That's many billions of years to the future. But I'm going to talk to you about an advancing species, which are the Alpha Draconians. This particular species are warlike. They're warlike species. They've allied with what they call the Wolfens, a particular hostile and very vicious species in war. They tend to cannibalize their enemies after they've defeated them, as do the reptilians. But the question is that we have an unseen space war which are basically against the humanoids in our sector compared versus their species and their allies. Now, well, you do not know about this because it's not relevant for human knowledge. You're kept in the dark because it causes fear, and fear is what these creatures thrive on. It's like a drug for them, along with our blood. That's why you hear about cases of this adrenochrome bloodlust that people are having or have, and that's because of our DNA. Do you know that we have multiple blood types on this planet? And one of them rare. I believe it's O negative. And then there's O positive. And then there's A positive and B positive. I'm not going to say, and I'm not going to talk to you about the medical portion of this, because this is related all in all to DNA. But as a human being, a human species, we all have a bit of alien DNA in our system, in our DNA makeup. Believe it or not. So let me continue this. For instance, I was talking to you about the Wolfen factor. And these beings come from an area near the Sirius and Orion sector of our universe. Some of who you see as the Zeta Reticuli come from the area of Rigel or Vega, or the Vega solar system. The beings that you have seen in the moon Madonna, she was from Lyra, a race or a species of agricultural minded society. They had 7 planets which were invaded by these reptilian DRACOs in their search for empire expansion. And they're still doing it. They're still doing it. So I'm going to give a congratulations to Christina Bruno for bringing that topic up. And I hope that many of you who are listening follow suit with that topic, because it needs to be brought out. In all reality, America and the human species is in danger from these beings, as they do have an alien agenda to basically return the world to their domination. And they resented the fact that humans live on this planet. They had wars with the Atlanteans in the Atlantic, and while they were living on a continent called Lemuria, which sunk millions of years ago, as did the Atlantis continent. But Atlantis was a seaport. I believe it was the northeast of Africa, in the Monrovia sector. And if you look on your map on any given world map, you will see Monrovia, which is the section, and there's a section in the desert where they call the area the Eye of the Desert. And it's a very mysterious area. It resembles totally the structure of what Atlantis, the port of Atlantis, seaport of Atlantis, was. So this is a start for your investigative work if you're doing research. But let me continue with this stargazing, I call it, a guide to the stars. I'm personally looking at the northern hemisphere, and I check for star magnitudes. The star magnitudes indicate the solar system, which is the area from which these beings come from. Not necessarily the planet, but the star itself and its magnitude. The highest magnitude being the brightest, as far as Lyra is concerned, is basically a magnitude of 1 to 9. And that indicates the star or the area where the LYRANS originated from. Now we talk about the DRACO area, the DRACO and the Triangulum species. These are the species with the looks like the kind of like a triangle type of head. It's not really a triangle, but basically a type of shape where the sides are basically larger in the skull region. And as for the Pleaideans, they're basically a taller race, and they call them the tall whites. Now it's gonna be kind of difficult for me to talk to you, the human race, human being, to make you understand that we are not alone in this universe, and we are not alone on our planet. And I'm gonna give you a detailed knowledge of what I know about the moon. The moon itself is a satellite. When the last moon landing came about, there was a test of the surface of the moon, and the moon basically when that technology hit the ground on the moon bombed for 3 days. I'm going to tell you why. Because under the surface of the dirt on the moon is metal and hollow. It's a satellite with 12 entry points, one for each month of the year, indicating the time frame of the moon's orbit around the Earth. You'll notice sometimes that the moon waves, the brightness of the moon diminishes. That's because it's recharging with the sun. Has a mechanism, has a technological mechanism inside of it, which was created many millions of years ago. And I would say to you that may understand some of this. Some of this knowledge is way out of the normal teachings of the educational basis that we are all accustomed to. But I can assure you there are 12 portals or 12 entry points into the moon. As you have seen, some scientists have seen basically crafts coming in and out of the moon through portals or through entry points. Now these are entry points to give light into the structure itself. Sometimes they're opened up to give light or bring light into the structure by way of opening it, and light comes in and is gathered in on the surface of the sun's surface side, and it's given light inside the structure, and the energy is gathered in where about you see it in the night sky when it's fully bright, so that you understand what I'm saying to you. I need to explain it further in detail, but I don't have my notes at the present time, but I wanted to bring this knowledge out because I saw the video of Christina Bruno, and I would love to see many more of her work as I have seen. I have not seen Ann Moulton in a while, and I don't know what's going on with her as well. As I heard about David Wilcox's death recently, and that's kind of strange. And I'm wondering about Ann Moulton, who was also distinguished in the field of knowing the species and the types of species that were on the planet. The vegans, for instance, and the Zeta reticuli, according to what she said. But the DRACOs, the reptilian DRACOs, are prevalent on this planet. They know how to conceal themselves, and they have adapted concealment well in the use of, how would you say it, imaging of a human being. They are well known as telepaths. They're telepathic beings, as are the Pleaideans. So many of these species and others, I call them others, they don't like to be called the aliens. They like to be called others, other people. And they like to be called that. So basically, I notice also that humans who do not understand the concept of these beings must understand that they're like a visitor from, for instance, a neighboring nation of ours on this world, and we start to ask questions and look at them funny, and question their nationality and so forth. Well, these beings, they're very shy as to their identities and their origins, but I think they're trying to get themselves known on this planet, and that's what's being said about them at the present time. But I want to talk about the Pleaideans. The Pleaideans are a humanoid species who are basically their human type color is pale compared to regular human beings, and they adapt to the cold. basically. That is how their makeup is. So my assumption, if it's correct, is that they live mostly in Antarctica because of the cold factor. And many have talked about the ice wall around Antarctica in the South Pole region. But as for the reptilians, they're basically a species of the how would you say, the forestal or the jungle type of environment, tropical environment, compared to the Pleaideans. As I said before, the Atlanteans were basically a mixture of the Pleiades and the LYRANS, who had joined together and worked together against the reptilians, who were trying to exterminate the humanoid factor. And they still are. Reptilians do not like humans. They use them. They will use them. They will give them what they want. In essence, what they need is in food, in flesh, and blood. That is what they go after. The resources of our planet. And what we need to watch who we are dealing with. This is a very dangerous species, as are the Triangulums. And to a point, the Zeta Reticuli, who are the lower echelon. They're like a hierarchy. The DRACOs on the top, the Zeta Reticuli in the middle, and the Pleaideans, the smaller versions, are the workers. Some say they are clones, created clones as workers. But let me emphasize one thing. During the time of the Anunnaki, humans were the workers, while the Anunnaki were the masters, who made themselves into gods in front of the humans. And the humans worked exhaustively to please the Anunnaki. And this was during the time of the Sumer Empire. How was the Sumer Empire destroyed? Very simple. They went through the same phases that Moses brought, or was brought on Egypt, Sodom, and Gomorrah, and the 7 cities of the plain. Later on, each phase of this world, this earth, which has 7 phases or 7 cycles. We are on number 5, the 5th cycle, going on to the 6th. So we have 2 more to go. I would say 1 more, since we are almost on the end of the 5th and going to the 6th. We will see the changes in our atmosphere in this world, because each cycle, somehow the earth shifts and creates cataclysms on the planet, chaos, earthquakes, fires, floods, upsurge of water coming from the earth, from within the earth, not from outside the earth, from within the earth, up to the ground, onto the surface. We do have large bodies of water underground, as it was in the time of Noah. All of the total of the earth's flood during the time of Noah did not come from 40 days of rain and night. It came from the bottom, from the middle of the earth as well. So that you may understand what I'm saying to you. A lot of what is said in the Bible in Genesis, and it talks about it in the times of Noah, had a lot to do with what we're seeing today. It's a repetitive of history, repetition of history, that you may understand what I'm saying. Book of Enoch talks a lot about messengers, the angels, the fallen angels. I could sit here and talk to you about the book of Enoch, but I would take too long for you. A lot of things are prevalent of what Enoch himself experienced. And I will say to you that what I'm saying to you is truth. I've done a lot of research. I've looked into a lot of history, specifically those histories coming from Egypt, Sumer, and Babylon. We did not go to Iraq just because someone had weapons of mass destruction. That was not the reason. And we are not in Iran for the same reason. And uranium is not the problem that we have. Iran and Iraq have very hidden, forbidden secrets. One of them, the Euphrates River, which contains what they call a mountain of gold. And right now, where Isfahan is located, where we just bombed, Buster bombed an area where they said the uranium is located. The Iranians moved that a long time ago, moved the uranium deeper underground. And they have the means on the networks. They have the means in the network to understand that you go deep. You can't be found on top. There are parts in this world where there are cities built underground, where there are caverns that we have never explored or know about. Even the pyramids contain vaults with increased knowledge. Increased knowledge. I'm talking far greater than the libraries of Alexandria and many others, even the Vatican. You have not seen anything yet. Open the books. And I mean by open the books is open your eyes. And seek knowledge that they don't want you to know. So with that, if there is something I left out, I will come back and I will give you an update. All I can say to you is keep searching. Keep praying. And remember, God is in control. Protect the innocent. Protect your children. Be of sound mind, sound heart, and treat your neighbors well. You never know when you might need them. God bless all of you. Good night.